Hey everyone, it's KDB. So today I wanted to show off this deck I've been brewing, which I like to call KMA, Karakuri Machina Auraradon. I got this deck idea from wanting to try to abuse Auraradon without Hulk, and I always enjoyed playing Karakuri Machina back in the day, so this deck was born. The game plan of this deck is to pull off a one-card combo that is the normal summon Machina Gearframe. We can use the Machina cards to link climb into Auraradon, but if we are using the one-card combo, we will be machine-locked. Most builds I have seen try to use Despot 1 and Hyper Librarian, but I want to try for something more consistent. Even though we are machine-locked, we can still do quite a bit using Karakuris to build a board. Before, I was trying to just draw 3 from Beredos, have Quick Effect Banish from Berebu, I'll draw another 2 on the opponent's turn, but I wanted to try and access the Therion cards in Engine like ABC does. First, I'll get through this replay I had on ladder to show what the deck can do, and then after, I'll show the deck list and discuss some options I chose as well as potential budget options. So without further ado, let's jump into the replay. From the opening hand here, machine redeployment is ideal, because not only can we get access to Gearframe, but we can have further access as well to Machina Citadel. So I activate redeployment, discard an Unclaspar, grab Gearframe and Citadel. Next, we're going to normal summon Gearframe. We're going to add Unclaspar, activate Unclaspar's effect to special summon itself, but now we're locked into machines. We're going to use Unclaspar's effect to send Machina Fortress. And then we're going to Xyz summon Gear Giga X. So now I have a bit to talk about. So if you don't have discard material for Fortress, you should send Ruin Force instead. That's what makes it a true one-card combo with any gear frame, not just Machina redeployment. Next up, we're going to use Gear Gigant's effect to search out key piece of the combo here, Symphonic Warrior Guitar. Next, we're going to use Guitar's effect, discard synths to summon mics. And next, we're going to bring back Fortress, and now we have 3 machines on board for Auraradon. This is something I want to talk a little bit about, because there's a few things you can do there. If you're using the Symphonic engine for this combo, then it's technically a 1.5 card combo because you have to discard something. If you have to use the Ruin Force line, you can't get mics here. You have to get synths from deck because you need to banish machines that equal level 12. So here you would have the Gearframe, the Unclaspar, and the synths engraved. You wouldn't have this other stuff that we have here. In the event where you can't get any other machines engraved, you have to get synths. Mics doesn't go to grave, but if you can get mics, then get mics because you get a free normal summon. Next up, there is another combo you can do here. I opt to do the Symphonic engine combo. You can instead get Turbo Booster off of Gear Gigant. Then you can go into the Ancient Gear Ballista link with Gear Gigant and Turbo Booster. Off of him, you grab Ancient Gear Box, and off of Ancient Gear Box, you grab Infinite Track Tunneler, and then you'll be able to link climb into Auraradon in a similar way, except instead of sometimes you would send Ruin Force, you just always send Fortress because you can discard the box and the Tunneler always. There's some pros and cons about which line you want to do. Obviously, Tunneler is amazing to draw another 2 cards. Who wouldn't want to draw another 2 cards? It's kind of the same amount of bricks. I guess technically you don't have to play mics, but I would recommend playing mics. However, the Symphonics are much better at playing through interruption because you have much easier access to just go into Gear Gigant X, even if your gear frame is negated. So if you have guitar in hand and gear frame gets negated, you can just flop down the guitar, summon out your level 4, go into Gear Gigant, and then search Unclaspar, and then continue the combo from there because Unclaspar was searched out and you can use his effect as normal. I much prefer that. I might try to experiment a little bit more with the other line a bit. I haven't really played much with it. I've mostly just played with the Symphonics. So from here, we're summoning the Auraradon tokens. Then we're going to use Auraradon's effect, go into O-Lion. Then off of O-Lion and a token, we can make XL Synchron. So keep in mind, again, we're machine locked, so we have to only summon machine monsters for the rest of the turn. Or special summon them, rather. So next up, we send Jet Synchron to Graveyard, so we can do more with Karakuri Synchros. Then we make Beredo. We're making another, or not Beredo, Beret. We're making another Beret. And we use Beret to go into the level 1 tuner. And then we summon Burrito. Burrito gets us another level 1 tuner. Then we can make a second Burrito. And since we're doing the ABC at home line, we're gonna stop here and just get a level 5 Karakuri. Next, we use the effect of our level 1 tuner Engrave, so we can change battle position, draw 2 cards. So keep in mind we'll have to discard one more time, but we still get to draw 2 here, which is nice. Next up, I discard a card for Jet Synchron, go into the level 9 Beret Boo. So he is a banish if a battle position is changed, and we can change our battle position on our opponent's turn. Essentially, quick effect banish. Next, we have 2 level 5s, so we can go into Riverstorm. We search out Regulus here. We can equip Machina Gear Frame. Bring out Regulus, now we have a negate. Next, I use Gear Frame's effect, special summon itself, and I have the extra normal summon with Mike still, so I can go into level 7. And we have Dawn Dragster, so this is pretty much one of the best boards you can build. I drew into Overdrive as well. My opponent is on Sword Soul Tenyi, so it's actually a little bit scary. They are very good at playing through Interruption, and I do misplay a little bit here. Keep that in mind. So I go for the Banish. I had to draw another card as well. I kept the Effect Veiler in hand. Oh, something you might be asking, by the way, is why did I summon these dinky guys in defense position? Their defense points are dinky. Burebu actually prevents all monsters in defense position you control from being destroyed by battle. A lot of people don't read that. Very useful effect, though. I need to keep my Burebu for the battle protection. I opt to negate the effect that would remove it. So they go for Moya, I Valor it. They go for the search spell, I negate it. Next, they haven't used the normal yet, so they have Taya. They just drew everything. They normal summon Taya. Okay, so here is where the misplay happens. I should have just chained Overdrive to Taya to be safe, because sometimes Master Duel can be annoying. And also this guy was heavily slow playing me, like he took forever to draw his card, for example. So I was getting a little tilted already. The main reason I wanted to immediately, when Citadel was summoned, pop his effect to just Regeki the board and I'd be done, but for some reason I wasn't holding left click properly. It made me click on a card instead, so they got to do whatever they wanted, kind of, and I was upset about it. Kind of played this a little poorly, this part, but it's still okay. So I tried to go for Citadel now, like, because I just want to get it, but I didn't really realize that because there's no monster being destroyed, I can't Regeki their board. They kind of misplay a little bit too here. They should have just gone into the Monk here and used his effect to just pop my Burebu, but they didn't. So we're both playing this subparly. So Gear Frame I left in attack position. Actually, I shouldn't have. But yeah, so I get the a lot of damage. But I keep my monsters on board, so that should be enough to clean up the game from here. Plus I got the Overdrive Shuffle back. And draw. Can bring back Fortress. I got Ruined Force Engrave too, just can bring that out. I switch Burrito, but don't trigger my Burebu because I want to get rid of the Berserker first. I can just crash into it with Fortress, and then they can't use the effect. It's not in the gate, it's just a banish. So during the damage step, I can destroy it. And then Burebu, switch him to attack position, banish him, and then they're kind of just screwed from here. So, yeah. that is the replay. All right, so here's the deck list. I'm on 45 right now. I do want to work on maybe trimming it down a little bit. I maybe want to cut some hand traps, etc., but it's a work in progress still, so. But yeah, let's jump into the card by cards. I got 3 Effect Veilers. Since we draw a couple of cards, I like being able to draw into Effect Veiler for more interruption, but maybe you want to consider cutting this just because it's not super consistent right now. You know, we have a consistent 1-card combo, but maybe it'd be better to just try to draw into more engine rather than more hand traps. We're on 1 Jet Synchron. It's a combo piece. What else do I need to say? We're also on 2 Shiro Kunishi, also a combo piece. I'm trying to minimize the amount of Karakuris in the main deck just because they're kind of tricky. They don't really do anything on their own. We really just want to summon them off of the synchros. Yeah, it's a shame, really, that Karakuri doesn't want to play Karakuris in the main deck, but yeah, that's what you gotta do. We're on 2 Maxi. Yeah, probably should be on 3, but I argue that Maxi isn't that amazing in today's meta, and space is tight. We're on 1 O-Lion for the combo as well. Something I didn't mention, but is a plus about playing Mikes, is it's not a huge deal if you have access to Mikes if you hard draw this, because you can just normal summon it with the extra normal, so that's great to have in your back pocket. We have Nanishi. We don't need to play Nanishi, but as you saw, she gives us access to Dawn Dragster as extra interruption for our turn 1 board. Also, you need her in case you draw any of the Karakuri main deck monsters that aren't level 5, your Kunishi or Watchdog here. Then you can bring her out during the combo and then normal summon the one you drew. It's unfortunate if you draw more than 1, though. We're on Triple Ash. We lose to Maxi, super hard, and just, like, the best hand trap overall. We're on 1 Ghost Bell for a Small World Bridge to Gear Frame. We want to be able to get to Gear Frame from Veiler or Maxi, and the best way to do that is with Ghost Bell, so that's who I chose for that. We're on 3 Gear Frame. As I mentioned, it's the 1 card started for this deck. You want to see him. We are on 1 Watchdog. Just, we need a level 4 tuner. Karakuri, that's all we need from him. We are on Symphonic Warrior Synthesis. We just need a level 4 Symphonic Warrior. That's not a pendulum, so it goes to the graveyard for the Ruin Force line specifically. We're on 2 Uncle. Yeah, it's kind of a break, but sometimes you draw enough gas anyway and don't need the special, so, and then you can just play without being machine locked. We are on 2 Kunamzan. You could argue between this and Ninja. Ninja's more high roll. You can draw more cards if you hard draw them. This is easier to get out of your hand, but at the same time, you also lock yourself into only Earth machines, which isn't that horrible, but it can definitely hamper your end board a little bit. We're on 1 Fortress. I probably should be playing more, but you can't get away with 1 Fortress in this deck. I would definitely recommend playing more Fortress if you are opting to not play the Symphonic Engine, because he's just more ways to machine special summons. I'm on 2 Regulus. I think this is fine. Maybe you want to max out on your Therion card. And we're also on 1 Citadel. Can provide you extra follow-up if your board does get broken, or if you draw the trap card, you can force it out yourself. It's our Geki, essentially. We're on 1 Ruin Force, also a busted Machina card that you can keep special summoning. We're on triple Symphonic Warrior Guitar. As I mentioned, you don't have to play a Symphonic Engine. I do really like it. We're on 1 Mike's. Already talked about him a bit. He gives you an extra normal summon. We're on 3 Machina Redeployment. Another card that just is everything for the deck. Lets you do a better combo if you draw it and resolve it. You can get Gear Frame and Citadel, like you saw in the replay. Small World, because we need to find Gear Frame. That's the whole point of this deck. We need to find Gear Frame. Once we get Clockwork Knight, which I heard may be coming out in February, we can test it out. I'm on the 1 Disco Coliseum I already mentioned. This card is absolutely busted. Probably should be maxing out at 3, to be honest. Maybe even with 3 Regulus. We are on 2 Called by the Grave. It's a stable card. What else do I need to say about this, really? Next, we're on 2 Urgent Schedule. It's really good, but also it's best of 1. I don't know how I feel about it too much. It's like going second, it's obviously amazing. You can, especially with this setup, you can just summon Nanishi and Fortress, and then that's basically a free Baron de Fleur. And then you get Fortress and Grave as well. I'm on 1 Evenly Matched. Maybe you would play more, but space is tight. I think it's pretty good, this format. I'm still kind of deciding what I should cut. Finally, I'm on 1 Machina Overdrive. I'm still playing around with this card. I, for a long time, didn't really think that this card was worth playing, but I do think there is some value just in the fact that if you get like dropleted or something, then you have some sort of play you can do still and get out your Citadel. Next, the extra deck. A lot of this is a little tight. We are on 1 Excel Synchron, part of the combo. This combo goes through most of the extra deck, to be honest. We're on 2 Beret. You already saw this in the replay. It summons a Karakuri and can change battle positions. We are on 1 Dawn Dragster. Mostly if we draw really well, we can extend further and make a spell trap negate. So why not do that? We are on 2 Beredo. You already know what this guy does. He draws you cards. We're on 2 Berebu. You really don't need to play 2. I'm just trying out the second copy because I have it. We're on Baron, mostly for the urgent schedule, as mentioned. We are also on Gear Gigant X, obviously mainstay of the combo. You want to find a way to him basically do the combo. We are on 1 Cyber Dragon Nova. So if you already drew Regulus, just like ABC can do, you can, instead of going into River Storm, you can just go into Nova and then go into Infinity. Next round on River Stormer, as you saw, he gives you in-engine access to the Therion cards. We are on 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity. He's a negate. You already drew Regulus, you can make your board even more strong. Next, we have 1 Barricade Board Blocker. This can be any link to machine that you can summon and also use it as link material so that we can go into Auraradon. You might want to play the Clifford link instead. I'm thinking about cutting a Berebu for the Clifford link, maybe playing that and Barricade Board Blocker. There might be some situations where you want to discard, for example. And finally, we're on Auraradon. Pretty much the centerpiece of the deck. We are using it for evils once again. Thankfully, not too many non-staple URs are absolutely required for this deck, but if you are a bit concerned about UR points, let's talk through some budget options. So as mentioned, staples, Effect Veiler, Ash. Ghost Spell, you could find another bridge, but this is definitely the best one. You can get away with playing like a small Therion engine or just cutting it all together. I wouldn't recommend it. I think this Therion gives this deck the teeth it needs, really. If you're not playing the Therions, though, I might want to recommend you try maybe to do the combo that ends in triple Beredo. Use one of them to go into Berebu. So you draw 3 during your turn, draw 2 during your opponents. In terms of the Machina cards, it's unfortunate we have Fortress, Citadel, and Rune Force as ultras. You could get away without playing Rune Force if you're doing the Ancient Gear Ballista combo instead. You could get away without Citadel. Wouldn't recommend it. Definitely need Fortress, obviously, at least one. Alright, next up, ultras in the extra deck. You don't have to play Dawn Dragster, it's just extra negation. You don't have to play a Berebu, you don't have to play 2. Definitely 1 is fine. You don't have to play Barone. In fact, I might cut it. And the urgent schedule package, I gotta decide if I want to do that. You do need Giga X, unfortunately. And you do need a Auraradon, obviously. Infinity you don't need, it's just extra negation. So at the very bare minimum for this deck, you would only need the 1 Machina Fortress, the 1 Berebu, the 1 Giga X, and the 1 Auraradon. That's not a lot. That's pretty good. My final thoughts on this deck. If you want to play ABC at home, or I guess with Union Care being banned, maybe it's just the new ABC. Maybe this is for you. While it's not a tiered meta threat, it's surprisingly strong and offers a unique combo playstyle that can also take advantage of the powerful recursion and interactions of the Machina cards. There's also that rumor of Clockwork Knight coming out soon, so maybe you'll see an update of this deck with that. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm working on a few videos at the moment. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.